Shadows of jealousy. What happens when beauty conceals a tempest? Can love withstand the fury of jealousy?
Like and subscribe.
In the bustling city of Enugu, where ambition thrives and shadows lurk in every corner, one young man must navigate the stormy seas of a toxic relationship. As the stakes rise and danger looms, can he find the strength to break free? Can he endure a nagging wife all the days of his life? This is the story of John, Jane, and Glory, a tale of love, betrayal, and the fight for a future worth living. In the heart of Enugu, life moved as swiftly as the cars on Independence Avenue. John, a gentle and hard-working accountant at a local bank, found himself at the center of a brewing storm. Engaged to Jane, a woman admired for her stunning beauty and impeccable style, he felt the weight of their union. Beneath her dazzling exterior lay a temper that ignited like wildfire at the slightest provocation. Jane hailed from one of the wealthiest families in the city, a lineage that looked down on John's more modest background but tolerated him for his hard-working nature and the business ties between their families. John had grown up in a home where respect and kindness were paramount. He dreamed of creating a similar environment filled with love and understanding. However, Jane's quick temper and jealousy often left him feeling like he was walking on eggshells. With each passing day, John's heart grew weary under the constant barrage of her complaints and sharp words. One Saturday, John received an invitation to a colleague's wedding on the outskirts of the city. With a hopeful smile, he approached Jane. "Jane, how about we go together to the wedding next weekend? It'll be a great way to relax and have some fun." Jane, still fuming over a previous argument, rolled her eyes. "You think I want to go and see those people? Do I look like I have time for their nonsense?" she snapped, crossing her arms tightly. John sighed, choosing not to press the matter further. He had learned that pushing back only escalated the tension. Attending the wedding alone, his mind lingered on the widening rift between them. Weeks later, in an attempt to bridge the growing distance, John invited Jane to dinner at Mama Nkech's Kitchen, a popular local restaurant known for its delicious traditional soups and warm ambience. John hoped the evening would lighten Jane's mood and give them a chance to reconnect. As they settled near the window, a cheerful waitress named Glory approached them. With her bright smile and calming presence, she had a knack for making everyone feel at home. Glory had been working at Mama Nkech's Kitchen for years to support her family after her father's death, carrying the weight of responsibility with grace. After finishing their meal, John decided to leave a tip for Glory. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a few naira notes, and handed them to her. "Thank you for the wonderful service, Glory," he said kindly. Before Glory could respond, Jane's face twisted in anger. "What is this? Are you giving her money? Do you think she needs your pity, or are you trying to impress her?" she shouted, drawing the attention of the other diners. Before John could explain, Jane stood up, walked over to Glory, and slapped her hard across the face. The sound echoed through the restaurant, leaving a stunned silence in its wake. Jane then snatched the tip from Glory's hand, glaring at her. "Don't ever think you can charm my man, you lowlife." Glory held back tears, lowering her head. Despite the humiliation, she responded with calmness. "I'm sorry, madam, if I have offended you. I was only doing my job. I hope you have a better evening." She bowed slightly, her eyes glistening but composed. John was mortified, his heart racing. As they left the restaurant, he attempted to apologize to Glory, but Jane pulled him away. "You don't need to speak to that nobody. Let's go," she hissed, dragging him into the night. The incident at Mama Nkech's Kitchen haunted John in the weeks that followed. Despite his efforts to make things work, he realized Jane's jealousy and temper had become a burden too heavy to bear. One evening, feeling drawn to the restaurant, John returned to Mama Nkech's Kitchen alone. He spotted Glory at the counter, serving customers with her usual warmth. When she noticed him, she approached with a gentle smile. "Good evening, sir. I hope you're doing well." John took a deep breath. "Glory, I'm truly sorry for what happened last time. You didn't deserve that. and I apologize on Jane's behalf." Glory's expression softened. "It's all right, sir. Life has taught me that kindness is more important than pride. I hold no grudge." Struck by her grace, they spent the next hour talking. John learned about Glory's struggles, supporting her younger siblings after their father passed away and her mother's illness. Despite her hardships, Glory always found reasons to smile, treating others with respect. Jane soon discovered John's visits to Merman Ketch's kitchen. One afternoon, she followed him to the restaurant, witnessing him laughing with Glory. Jealousy surged within her. That evening, she confronted John, her voice thick with rage. "So, this is why you've been ignoring my calls? To be with that cheap waitress?" she shouted, her eyes blazing. "You think you can humiliate me like this?" John, feeling the weight of frustration, reached his breaking point. "Jane, it's not about her. It's about us. I can't keep living in constant tension. You've embarrassed me and yourself too many times. I can't take it anymore." Her face twisted in shock and disbelief. She had always assumed John was too kind to stand up to her. But now, seeing his resolve, she felt a panic rise. He took off the engagement ring and placed it on the table. "It's best we go our separate ways." With a final look of hurt and fury, Jane stormed out, slamming the door behind her. John exhaled, feeling a heavy weight lift from his shoulders. Jane was not one to accept defeat easily. Furious, she went straight to John's parents, complaining about how he had broken off their engagement. They were shocked and confronted John. "John, this relationship was important to us. Jane's family is our business partner. How could you let this happen?" John remained steadfast. "Father, Mother, I cannot marry someone who disrespects me and others. You didn't see how she treated that poor girl, Glory. I have to think of my future and happiness." Desperate to reclaim control, Jane devised a malicious plan. She contacted a group of local thugs, offering them money to intimidate Glory. "Make sure you scare her. I don't care what you do, just make sure she stays away from John," she instructed, her voice cold. One night, as Glory was leaving work, the thugs approached her in the dimly lit streets. Before she could react, they attacked, beating her and leaving her bleeding on the ground. They shot her in the leg, thinking she wouldn't survive the night. But fate had other plans. A neighbor who had seen the suspicious men lurking earlier rushed to Glory's aid. He called for help and managed to get her to a nearby hospital just in time. John, upon hearing the news, rushed to the hospital, his heart pounding with fear. He found Glory unconscious but stable in her hospital bed, her leg bandaged. Sitting by her side, he held her hand, whispering, "You'll get through this, Glory. I promise I'll be here for you." As Glory recovered, the police began their investigation. The neighbor's testimony and surveillance footage helped them track down the thugs. Under intense questioning, they revealed Jane's role in the attack, describing how she had paid them to harm Glory. However, just as it seemed Jane would be caught, she claimed she had been at a family event that night, showing witnesses who supported her alibi. John's heart sank as the evidence seemed to slip away. Just when it appeared Jane might escape the blame, the police uncovered a crucial piece of evidence: a phone recording of Jane directly instructing the thugs to teach Glory a lesson. The tape exposed her true intentions and left no room for doubt. Jane was arrested and charged with attempted murder. The news of her arrest sent shockwaves through both families. John's parents, who had initially supported Jane, were horrified by the lengths she had gone to in her jealousy. "We never thought she was capable of such a thing," John's mother whispered, ashamed. In court, Jane attempted to plead for leniency, but her actions were too severe to overlook. She was sentenced to several years in prison, disgraced and abandoned by those who had once respected her. During Glory's recovery, John and his family grew closer to her. They saw the kindness in her heart and the strength with which she faced the trials of her life. John was there every step of the way, helping Glory with her physical therapy and offering emotional support. As they spent more time together, A deep bond formed between them, a connection built on trust, kindness, and shared dreams for the future. With Jane's arrest, the shadow of jealousy that once loomed over John's life began to fade. He found solace in Glory's resilience and grace, which only deepened his feelings for her. She had endured so much yet remained kind and hopeful. John admired her strength and felt grateful for the new direction his life was taking. As Glory healed, she expressed her dreams of returning to school to pursue a degree in nursing. Inspired by her passion, John vowed to support her ambitions. Together, they started working on her application, navigating the complexities of forms and financial aid. The more they collaborated, the more their partnership blossomed into something beautiful and meaningful. One sunny afternoon, while walking through a park, John stopped and turned to Glory, his heart racing. "I've never felt this way about anyone before. You've shown me what true love is, love without jealousy or manipulation. You deserve every happiness in the world." Glory's cheeks flushed as she looked into his eyes, her heart fluttering. "John, I feel the same way. You've been my rock, and I can't imagine my life without you in it." In that moment, they shared their first kiss, a tender exchange that sealed their connection. It was a promise of loyalty and love that would guide them through life's challenges. As Jane served her sentence, John occasionally heard updates about her. He felt a mix of pity and relief. Pity for someone who had lost her way, and relief that he was no longer entangled in her toxic web. Meanwhile, Glory thrived, finding joy in her studies and support from John's family. They celebrated her small victories and encouraged her dreams, creating a supportive family unit that she had longed for. John's parents, having witnessed their son's transformation, were proud of his growth. They embraced Glory as their own daughter, recognizing her as the woman John was meant to be with. Their love became a shield against the pain of the past, a new foundation built on respect and mutual understanding. As the months passed, Glory graduated from nursing school with flying colors. John organized a small celebration with his family and friends to honor her achievement. Surrounded by love and warmth, Glory felt a sense of belonging she had always craved. During the celebration, John stood up, raising his glass. "To Glory, you've shown us all what strength looks like. You inspire me every day, and I'm grateful to have you by my side." As the guests cheered, John took a deep breath and continued, "Glory, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife?" A hush fell over the room as Glory's eyes widened in surprise. Tears of joy streamed down her face. "Yes. 1,000 times, yes." The room erupted in applause as John slipped a ring onto her finger, sealing their commitment to each other. In that moment, they understood that they had both risen from the ashes of their pasts, ready to face the future hand in hand. Years later, as they stood together in their new home, a cozy apartment filled with laughter and love, John and Glory often reflected on their journey. They had weathered the storm of jealousy, betrayal, and darkness and emerged stronger together. Glory worked as a compassionate nurse, helping others heal while continuing to pursue her dreams. John excelled in his career, providing for their family, always inspired by Glory's unwavering spirit. Together, they built a life filled with joy, trust, and support, proving that love could conquer even the darkest shadows. As they prepared for the arrival of their first child, they knew their love story was just beginning. John and Glory had transformed their lives, breaking free from the chains of jealousy and pain, and they were ready to embrace whatever the future held, together. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, CHUKWUDI ALAULOR STUDIO at CHUKWUDI ALAULOR. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to hear your opinion. Thank you once again.